game that has plus 100 odds, plus 100, meaning you get 1-to-1 on your money. So if you put $2,000 against on the Patriots on this side, $2,000 on the Dolphins on this side, one of those books is going to win. So that 2,000 is going to migrate to another book. Now you're going to have a balance of 4,000 in one and 0 in the other. Well, the book that you lost in, they're going to be like, this guy sucks at gambling. Let's give him another bonus.
All right, guys, we got Nathan here with an interesting way to make some money.
Yes. Cracked a code.
Yeah. What do you call this method?
So, well, I call it bet sniping, but it's a pretty new concept, actually. A lot of people are sports betting, get involved in betting. Everyone loves doing that. The crazy thing about sports betting is 97% of people lose their money. And the reason why is because sportsbooks usually give bonuses when you make deposits and sign up for an account. And let's just say, for an example, you deposit $1,000, they're going to give you $1,000, but you can't just withdraw that $2,000. They make you bet a certain volume before you can withdraw the money. And 97% of people lose their money in that game. So I figured out a way how to beat that game and make money no matter what.
Wow. So you claim basically people can make money from sportsbook without gambling?
Yes. What I'm doing is not gambling, because gambling is like picking one side of a sporting event and hoping that team wins, right? Hoping. So what I'm doing is I'm using house money to bet on both sides of a game and win no matter what. So I don't really care who wins. As long as the game ends, then I'm going to make money.
And they always end.
They always end.
Damn. Yeah. I've seen your calendar because you post like screenshots of your earnings, and almost every day was green. I think like 26 were green.
Yeah. Well, so the green days are great, but red days aren't bad either, because the way it works is if you get given a $1,000 bonus, you can sacrifice a little bit of that money to move the money around and to complete their rollover requirement that allows you to withdraw. So the red days aren't bad. It's part of the process. I know. I guess if you first see it, it might look like I lost some, but that's part of the process. The red days aren't bad. Like some days just happen to end red.
And they weren't that big of losses. I think you lost like a couple hundred on those days on average.
Yeah. And again, that's part of the process. That's part of how you extract the money from the sports book. You know, if they give you $10,000 and you sacrifice 500 of it, you're up $9,500. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How much knowledge do you personally have of sports?
I actually don't watch sports too much. I started doing this 7 months ago. Prior to this, I had no experience. Actually, I don't watch a lot of sports because I honestly just hate like the ref's calls. Like a ref call that could be wrong determines the outcome of a game. And that just bothered me so much. I used to watch sports 10 years ago. I've started to watch sports while doing this. It makes it a little bit more interesting, but it's definitely not required. You don't have to have any knowledge about sports or even watch the games.
That's nuts.
Like I placed 30 bets today and I haven't watched a game.
Are you serious?
Because it doesn't matter. I'm going to win no matter what.
Wow. That's crazy. And it doesn't matter what sport you're betting on?
So there's a software that I use to show which pair of bets to bet on. Because if you notice, like if you go to a sports book, if you go to one sports book and try to bet on both sides of a game, you'll notice that you'll lose about 10, 15% of your money because there's that spread that the sports book has to make money, right? But what happens is if you use two different sports books, the lines, the odds for a game will change based off of the betting volume. So let's say you have like the Patriots versus the Dolphins, like a football game. On platform A, everybody's betting heavy on the Patriots. On platform B, everybody's betting heavy on the Dolphins. That's going to move the lines and create an opportunity to either profit a little bit on betting on both sides or just losing a little bit. So when you get all these bonuses, the whole goal is to not lose money. It's just to lose as little money as possible to beat their game in order to withdraw.
Got it. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And what type of setup would you need for this? Do you need a fancy computer? Like, is it a day trading setup?
No, there's a website that has software that shows you everything. You just log in and then you just go to the sportsbooks websites and place the bets. Like it tells you what bets to do. So you go find that bet. There's even a calculator that's built into the software that shows you how much you bet on both sides. Because the odds can change and be all crazy, it could be hard to just know off the top of your head. So you literally just like plug in a number, it spits out the other number, and then you just put those numbers in and you bet them at the same time.
Wow. Do you have to be super quick with it? Because I know the lines change kind of fast sometimes, right?
They can change while you're doing it, which is why I tell people to have both bets up and then double check the odds and then place them at the same time. But even then, the odds can change slightly. So as long as you as long as you
If you're building something, doesn't matter if it's a business, a brand, or just a better version of yourself, then you already know the work never really stops. Your brain is always on. Ideas at 2 a.m., problems at 3, plans at 4. But here's the truth. If you never shut down, you're going to crash fast. That's why I use Sambrosa. It's not hype. It's not some trendy sleep hack. It's a legit syrup that helps you fall asleep when your brain won't let you. You take it and 20 to 30 minutes later, you're out. Not groggy, not drugged up, just to sleep like you're supposed to be. Then you wake up clear with no brain fog, no dragging yourself out of bed, you get your hours in, and you actually feel like you slept. Sleep isn't optional, it's not self-care, it's strategy. If you're not getting it right, you're leaving energy, focus, and money on the table. Sambrosa helps me sleep, it helps me execute, that's the only reason I talk about it. You want to get ahead, start by getting real rest. Check out the link below in their website, www.sambrosa.com.
have their calculator to just recalculate that difference, then you'll be fine. You might lose a little bit more than you originally planned, but that's fine. But the opposite can happen too. You could also place one side and then the other side could improve. So, it
goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
For people watching this, because they're all over the country, is there better states or cities to do this system with?
So you could do this in any state. So there's 2 types of sports books. There's domestic sports books that are located in the US, and then there's international sports books. And all the international sports books you could do anywhere in the country, but there's a handful of US states that have access to domestic sports books, and those are a little bit more advantageous if you do live in one of those states. However, you do not need to be in one of them. Like Arizona, Colorado, North Carolina, Ohio. There's like probably 13 states that have the majority of all the books. And I've actually even traveled to those states for a day. I've flown to an airport just to place a bunch of bets and then flown out same day. I've done that like 5 times.
You couldn't use a VPN?
So no, their websites are too sophisticated. And the domestic sites, the domestic sports books, they actually have you download software that allows them to track where you are. It's called GeoComply.
Got it.
Is the company, and you have to download the software. And before as you're logging into the website, it'll just confirm your location.
Damn.
And there's no way to spoof it. If they detect you're using a VPN or remote software or anything like that, they'll give you a warning. And if you keep on trying to bypass it, then they'll just shut you down.
They'll ban you. Yeah.
Yeah. Sportsbooks do not care about you at all. Like if they think you're a liability or a risk to them, which I am, then they'll close you down.
How scalable do you think this is? Because I know you're making like tens of thousands right now, right?
Yeah, I actually just had my record month in April, 30 grand, 30K. Yeah, so it's gone up from there. But what was your question?
Like, do you think, because your mentor even made 60K, I think you told me, right? In a month.
Yeah, well, this wasn't my mentor. This is just a friend of mine.
Yeah.
60K is really high. It's hard to say that someone could make 100K in a month doing this, but to find like an internet opportunity that is no risk like this, that doesn't take all day. Like I literally spend 30 minutes to 2 hours a day, just depending on how much I'm doing it. Yeah. Once I wake up in the morning, I just look at the software. It shows all the betting opportunities, and I just place all the bets. And then once you've staked everything, then you just watch the app and wait till the games get over, and then you restake again.
So I mean, an hour a day to make 30K a month, that's a K an hour.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's super crazy.
$1,000 an hour. Yeah. If you do the math. That's nuts, dude. I love that. Yeah. And it's like you said, the risk is low. Because I mean, what's the most you've lost, I guess? Like what's the riskiest thing that's happened?
So I did have a record month, close to 31K April, but I actually made 5K in mistakes.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you could have made 35K.
Yeah, closer to 36. Yeah. So there's the only way to really lose doing this is by user error. And there's times where, I'm just thinking about something else, just going through the motions. At this point, I've placed close to 7,000 bets. So sometimes I just am thinking about other things. I'm really fast on a computer, and sometimes I'm too fast. And I just need to slow down and pay attention to what I'm doing. But I've made a few. Like,
you added a 0, didn't you?
Well, it's more like I didn't see the odds right, or just a stupid mistake. And, you enter a number and click submit. Once you click submit, then that bet's submitted.
You can't take it back.
Yeah. So you actually can cancel on some sites and sacrifice 5 or 10%. But I'd rather just gamble at that point. So I made a few mistakes, and then I was like, fuck it, let it ride. And then I lost those bets.
Damn.
What's crazy?
Shout out to Northwest Registered Agent, today's sponsor. Starting your own business should be exciting, not overwhelming. I've been there and I know how fast things can get complicated. Imagine getting it all done, your entire business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes, seriously. With Northwest Registered Agent, you get more privacy, more control, and real experts who've been doing this for nearly 30 years. Whether you're launching an LLC or starting a corporation, Northwest forms your business for just $39 plus state fees and gives you the support you need every step of the way. If you need a website, a local business address, trademark protection, they've got you covered, all in one easy account. And here's the big one. You could protect your identity by using their address instead of your home. Want more? Their premium mail forwarding gives your business a professional presence while keeping your personal info secure. Don't wait, protect your privacy, build your brand, and set up your business in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit northwestregisteredagent.com/social hour and start building something amazing.
Crazy about this whole thing is like, yes, 97% of people lose their money. I've actually made a few just regular bets, not betting on both sides. And over the long term, I'm fucking down doing that. Like there'll be a super favored team and you're like, oh, this team's a lock. And you put $1,000 on it. And then the underdog wins. Just, I don't know why, but like, it's just the craziest thing. So the only way to win is actually just by using house money to bet on both sides. No risk. Like that's the only way to guarantee that you could actually make money with sports.
I mean, they want you to bet on emotion.
Totally.
That's how they win.
They love it. They love that. They want people like that.
That's why it's so profitable for them, because sports is for most people, is very emotional. You have a team, you have a player.
Yep. You want to see them win and you're by the TV like, ah.
Yep. And the only people that make money are probably the ones doing this or like just super autistic.
Well, the one way to get an advantage is to be at the game live, because the sports books get their information. I mean, they probably also have people at the game live, like just giving information. But the only way I'd see making money aside from what I'm doing is like being there live and live betting. Like if, I don't know, LeBron James just rolls his ankle and is out for the game, just being the first to act, like, you know, there's certain scenarios, maybe you can get an edge. But
even with those though, I've heard live arenas ban the sports betting apps.
Yeah, I've actually never done that, but like, yeah, I'd imagine they wouldn't want people doing that because their systems and all the sports books have to change their odds based off what's happening. Right. That's why there's a delay with TV, right?
I think so. That's why there's such an edge, I think.
Yeah, it's not in people's favor at all. Again, 97% of people lose their money, and you know, sports books are making billions. I think it was I think just in the US, could be wrong in this, it was like 10 or 20 billion last year, and they're I think 20 billion, and they're growing like 25% year over year right now. So sports books and sports betting blowing up, and it's only becoming more regulated. So there's only more sports books and more bonuses that are entering the market every year. Since I've started this 7 months ago, there's already been 2 new sports books that make what I'm doing way easier. Yeah. So I'm really optimistic about the future.
Yeah, let's dive into the bonuses, because some people watching this might not know what that is, but you've made 10 grand off a bonus before, right?
Yeah. So these sports books will give you deposit matches. So they want you to deposit, let's say $1,000, and they're going to match that and give you $1,000. But you can't just pull that out. You have to bet. Let's just say if they give you what's called a rollover requirement. So they'll say, if we gave you $1,000, your balance is $2,000 now, and we're going to slap a 10x rollover, meaning you have to bet $20,000 worth of bets before you can withdraw. So naturally, I mean, with $2,000, you'd have to win a lot of bets in order to complete that. And then if you still have money, then you can withdraw. So 97% of people lose that game and just lose their initial 1,000. So the way I'm doing it is if you deposit $1,000 on 2 different sports books and they both match that, now you have $4,000. For conversation's sake, let's say you're betting on a game that has plus 100 odds, plus 100, meaning you get 1-to-1 on your money. So if you put $2,000 against on the Patriots on this side, $2,000 on the Dolphins on this side, one of those books is going to win. So that 2,000 is going to migrate to another book. Now you're going to have a balance of 4,000 in one and 0 in the other. Well, the book that you lost in, they're going to be like, this guy sucks at gambling. Let's give him another bonus. So they're going to give him another bonus. We're going to deposit 1,000. They're going to give us 1,000. Now we have 6,000. It costs us 3,000. Now our balance is 6,000, right? I know I'm holding a 7 up, but 6,000.
No, that makes sense. So it's honestly like something you should do with your partner and your friends too.
Yeah. In fact, every single person that has an ID is eligible for all these books.
21 plus though, right? Or is it 18?
That's actually a great question.
might be.
I'm much older than 21, so
maybe it depends by state actually.
But yeah, I mean, it's probably 18 or 21. I guess I need to know that. So, because I just started Bet Snipers and people might be joining underage. So, yeah, but as long as you're over 18 or 21, I got to figure out what that is. Anybody is eligible to get all these bonuses from the sports books. And I've opened 20 different sports books.
Damn.
You don't have to use all 20, but I'm crazy with this and I scale things up. So I've opened 20 different sports books. They all give bonuses.
Yeah.
And I'm hedging it around, betting on both sides, using house money, withdrawing it. And the great thing about international books, let me just jump over to I was talking about domestic books, international books. International books, they use crypto. So I actually bought a bunch of crypto, bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and then you cycle the money. So you have Bitcoin, you deposit in the sports books, and then you withdraw back into your Bitcoin wallet, and you're cycling that. So all of that's not coming in and out of your bank. If that was going in and out of your bank account, it'd be a little bit more complicated with taxes.
Yeah.
But a little bit simpler if it's a Bitcoin wallet because you're only reporting taxes when it enters your bank account. So, yeah.
No, that's brilliant. I didn't know the offshore ones let you deposit crypto. That's cool.
Yeah, and 90% of what I do is international books.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a community earlier that you're starting, right? Because you're a few months into this now and you feel like you can coach others. And have you had any student success yet?
Yeah. I have 3 people so far. I actually took 2 friends out to Arizona and just tested like, okay, let's see how much these guys can make. Taught them what's up. And one made $4,000 in the first 3 days and the other one made $2,500.
Damn.
Yeah. So you're either going to make a lot or you're going to make a decent amount. It's like you're going to make money today or you're going to make tomorrow. Either way, it's good. Some people get luckier than others, but as long as you're doing the training correctly, like what we train, then you'll make money no matter what.
I like the business model too, because a lot of businesses, to make money these days, you got to either deposit a lot of money or a lot of time. But it sounds like with this, you can make some money off the rip.
I definitely got to say there's a learning curve if somebody has never bet on sports before. It took me a couple weeks to truly understand odds and the sports books. A lot of sports books will call the same thing 2 different things. So that could be really confusing to people. So I'd say there's about like a 2-week learning curve. You really got to apply yourself and just learn something, just like with anything.
Yeah.
You just learn it and then it gets really easy. Like I've boiled this down to like 30 minutes to 2 hours a day. Like really, I could just jump in there in the morning, place a handful of bets, really be done for the day.
I mean, that's impressive. Yeah. But 2 weeks to learn a skill that could potentially last years. I mean, who knows how long this will last? It seems worth it to me.
Well, I always talk about this to people and they ask, how long is this going to last? And it's like, well, it looks like it's getting easier. Sports books are opening up all the time and they have to have these enticing bonuses to get people to deposit. And they're competing with the next sports book. So it almost seems like they're racing to have bigger bonuses. Like there's this one sports book where I deposited $750 and they had a what was it? They had a 750% bonus.
Damn.
So I deposited $750 and my balance was $4,250.
Holy
So they gave me $3,500 for depositing $750. Now it comes with a big rollover, right? But because I know how to beat that system, anytime I see a bonus like that, I'm like, this is just them handing me money.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And what's crazy is I actually cleared it and got that. They usually have a window, like a 1 week or a 2 week window that they'll give you that bonus. So I actually deposited $750, cleared that, meaning my balance hit 0 in that book and I won it in a different book. And then I did that bonus again. So I actually made $7,000 in like 2 weeks off of one book.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's all the other books that I'm doing.
Wow. So you got to look out for those opportunities, those deposit bonus opportunities.
Yeah. So that's why I created Bet Snipers, because there's a lot of ways that you could do it wrong and lose money. And so the training is essential. But also I just have a feed of all the bonuses. I mean, I'm doing this every day. So I'm just sharing what I've done right. And then even my mistakes, because those really help people.
Yeah.
And then just all the new bonuses. I'm just really on top of just all these bonuses. That's what I do right now.
I love it. So for people watching, message you on Instagram. Is that the best spot?
Yeah, Nathan Media on Instagram. I just launched Bet Snipers. Bet Snipers is amazing. It's betsnipers.co.
We'll put a link in the video too.
Yeah. There's 22 people that joined so far. I just started this last week.
Nice.
It's really exciting. A lot of people are watching the course right now. Some people have gotten started. Everyone's excited about it. And yeah, that's the goal, is to build a community. So 10 years ago, I actually created, I wasn't the CEO of this company, but I became the face of a company that had 100,000 users. 100,000 users. We taught drop shipping. So I created 2 courses that taught eBay to Amazon drop shipping. 20,000 of those people took my advanced training, and I built that community. I was running around speaking at seminars, doing webinars every week. And yeah, it was crazy watching so many people have success, again, with just like an internet opportunity. And in fact, the way that we were doing it was a no overhead strategy. So anybody that has just a bank account, you could have $0 in your bank account and you can scale up a business with no overhead, because you'd sell the product for more expensive than someone's buying and send it to them for cheaper. So you'd take their money. They would send you $100 for buying something. You would take that 100, buy something for $70, send it directly to them. So it's a no overhead way, no advertising either, because you're selling on eBay and Amazon.
Yeah.
So I have a knack for these internet opportunities. This will be my second time creating a mentorship program, and I think people are just going to knock this out of the park.
I can't wait to see it, man. Let's make some money sports betting, I guess.
Yeah.
That feels so weird to say that.
Yeah. And your fiance is going to join this.
Yeah,
and
Ariel's joining. I think she might have started the training already.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see what she says. And,
she wanted to be an actuary when she was in college. So I think she'll be good at this too.
Oh yeah.
With numbers.
No, she's good. She's great with numbers. So she'll definitely be an early success story.
Oh yeah. Well, stay tuned, guys. Check out the link in the video if you're interested, or message him on Instagram. I'll see you next time.